Hello, I'm Carolyn Herbert from the Finance News Network, and joining me from lithium explorer Latin Resources to talk about its latest acquisition is Managing Director Chris Gale. Chris, welcome back.
Thanks very much, Carolyn.
Now, you're currently over in Lima at the moment. Can you tell us what you're doing there?
Oh, look, yeah, I'm just finishing visiting my office here in Lima, and I've also got meeting with the first Quantum, our joint venture partner, in relation to our copper project in Peru.
Now, the company's also recently acquired cobalt concessions in Argentina. Why did you decide to move into cobalt?
Initially, we were showing we're always looking at projects, certainly in Peru and Argentina, and we were shown a project, the King Tut mine, in La Rioja, which is the province down from Catamarca. We had a quick look at it, did a lot of desktop due diligence, and look, we liked it. Cobalt, as you know, as well as lithium, is a battery mineral. We're in that space. We decided to, obviously, what we have done is taken some pre-concessions around the mine, and we're discussing the mine with the owner as well. And it made a lot of sense for us to have a look at it. And obviously we've now put the concessions in for the application, and hopefully we'll have those granted pretty soon.
And Chris, your concessions are located next to the historic King Tut mine. So what's the history of cobalt production and the likelihood of extensions into your concessions?
Well, typically, as always in Latin America, the way that we actually find our projects is look to where the old artisanal miners have been, because they normally find a high grade, whether it's gold, cobalt, zinc, lead, copper. So that's traditionally how we identify to see whether there's a good opportunity. This has been old cobalt mines dating back to the 1900s and more recently in the 50s and 60s, and a Canadian company owned in the 80s. So first thing we do is check it out, and if there's free ground around that particular mine, we will claim that, as we did in Catamarca and our lithium mines, the old spodumene mines. So that's normally, our concept, our strategy, if you like, and that's how we came off. Look, we really hope that those extensions run into our land. Typically, we have found that in the past in our other projects. So until we get on the ground, I can't really answer whether they do or not yet. We've got to do a lot more work on the ground.
Very good. So when do you plan to start exploration?
The exploration on that will start once the concessions are granted. Typically, it takes anywhere between 2 and 4 months to get those concessions granted. We're working on that right this very minute to start that process, obviously putting our concessions in for application. So once those are granted, we'll start doing the field work, mapping, sampling, defining drill targets. We could be drilling that project second quarter after we finish St. Louis project.
So Chris, can you provide us with an update on cobalt prices and demand for the commodity?
Well, one of the reasons we actually decided to go for this cobalt property was that if you look at the current prices of cobalt last Friday, they were at historical highs of $51,000. Now, there is a lot of cobalt. 60% of the world's cobalt comes out of the Congo. I noticed only a few days ago that Apple I saw in the media that they've basically said that they're not going to take any more cobalt out of the Congo for their devices. And certainly there'll be a lot of pressure on, because of the way the cobalt is mined in Congo, that potentially prices could continue to increase if we start to see a demand outside of Congo for cobalt. So, yes, a historical high, so it's a good time to be in cobalt.
Now, turning to Catamarca, can you tell us about your latest assay results?
Look, we were really encouraged by the first round of assays. We've got to understand that was 6 holes out of a total of 14 that we assayed at the reflective Mar project. The Pisca didn't come up that well at all, so we'll probably not do any more work at Pisca but certainly reflectos showing encouraging signs of grades up to 2.7%. But these are what we're drilling is exploratory, so we're only putting, six to a dozen holes down at each of our targets to get a feel for what lies below the surface. Obviously, the old spodumene mines had some good surface samples, assays, but we've got to try and ascertain whether it runs at depth, how big the structure, etc., etc. So, encouraged by the grade, the intersections, ranging from 1 to 9 metres, not that large, but certainly we've got to test the structure a lot more yet to see exactly. We only drilled to 100 and 120 metres. Is it deeper? What we're doing currently is going around testing every project that we have in Catamarca. We're up to project 3 at the moment. We'll move on to the 4th project and then see what we can determine which is the best project to focus on there. We'll move the rigs down to St. Louis second. Probably they'll go around towards the middle to end of April. We'll start drilling St. Louis. Once we collect all that information, we'll run it through our model and see exactly which is the project we want to focus on and end up developing our JORC resource.
And finally, Chris, Latin Resources' share price has come off quite sharply over the past week. So how do you explain the fall?
That's an interesting question. It's a very good question. I can't explain that, to be honest. I actually can't. Nothing's changed from when we were 30 million market cap, apart from we picked up the cobalt project and we showed encouraging results and certainly a lot of promise at our Catamarca projects. I can't control the share price or the market. The market will do what the market does, and all we can continue to do is continue to follow our plan, our strategy of drilling our projects, developing our business, and get the fundamentals right. And I would expect that hopefully the market understands that once the fundamentals are strong, which I still think they are, but anyway, it'll reflect in the market cap down the road.
Chris Gale, thanks for the update.
Thanks, Carolyn. Nice talking. See you later.